Hey everyone, it's me Spencer. I just figured that I'll make another video about magic within itself, and I want to just jump right into it. But before I do that, I just want to let you guys know that when it comes to the Ars Goetia inns, those inns have to be put out there for you guys, and obviously for very obvious reasons. Because if you think about it, we need a complete meditation playlist of the Ars Goetia, because you never know in the future if someone needs it. You never know any of these things that we can't really predict, because it's all about spirituality and it's all about how we connect with these particular beings so that we could have the results that we desire. After all, if we're not connecting with them and we don't know how to connect, that's why there are a whole entire playlist of the complete Ars Goetia meditation. But the reason why I'm breaking this up is that I realize that a lot of people don't really pay attention to them. And it makes a lot of sense, because YouTube is filled with these things and you're able to connect with them on your own, and or have another channel that you're subscribed to and they provide that for you. But I'm obviously not speaking to the person that has that sort of knowledge, but obviously those in the near future, that when you watch a video like this, you're able to basically have a playlist where if you do come upon my channel, there's a full library of the Ars Goetia that you could connect to if you have trouble. And well, that's what it's there for, and I just wanted to say that. Okay, well, moving forward, the reason why that I'm making this video is that I thought that it's so apropos, it's so important to talk about magic. Now, we know that if you're Wiccan, we realize that though Wiccan could be definitely mainstream, I realize like their explanation on magic is not that far away from my explanation on magic. So in other words, there's so many different types of magic that we could actually endorse within our lives, make a practice of it, and then see if we have that desired result. We have to realize that magic within itself is a trial and error, ongoing practice. It's something that you do to get that result. So therefore, you have to almost reprogram your mind in how you view magic. In other words, don't expect to just grow wings and fly away, or if you do a money spell, it's going to happen immediately. These things like money spell, love spells, and things of that nature, yes, it determines on your effectiveness in your magic, how well you're able to concentrate, your knowledge. It really does depend on you and the said deity that you work with. So that's why it's good to set this video up to first explain why do people have a trouble time in getting their desired results. Well, when we ask a question like that, we need to first go back to the fundamental basis. One fundamental basis that we could first understand on why people don't get their desired results is because it's their understanding of it. You see, some people don't understand that, first of all, magic is in fact real. That's why if you are watching this video, you are at least curious of the very idea of magic. You saw my thumbnail, you clicked it, and you said, I wonder what this guy has to say about magic. But yet, our fundamental ideas and what teaches us, which is the television, the media about magic, we first think about a Harry Potter. We think about really good movies like The Illusionist or something like that. And these movies, though they're really good within themselves, depending on the individual, they're not the best teacher. You understand? They're good for what they are and its worth, its value. But if you come to, let's say, someone like myself to do a ritual, and I perform something that you want in your life, and you don't understand the process, even though it is successful, I would still want to recommend that you understand what magic is and how it works. because you would still be under the illusion that magic should operate in the same exact way of what you see on television. That's why I like how individuals like Aleister Crowley in the 19th and 20th century, in his day, and more so too within the 21st century, we realized that individuals look at magic and they think it's a rabbit being pulled out of a hat. So to separate magic from what he's explaining, this pioneer, this British pioneer, Aleister Crowley, had in fact made a separation from magic and then putting that K in that word magic, making a big difference. And the reason why I feel it's a big difference is because it separates what people usually think about taking a rabbit out of a hat or looking at movies like Harry Potter. Again, within itself, there's nothing wrong with it, but if you're going to think that magic is just a game and it's something that's not real, then I don't personally feel that that individual should pay someone to do a ritual if they really think it's just a stage, some sort of game to them. People that usually practice magic, I feel they are curious first, like those who click on this video, and you want to make an honest effort in not just dabbling, but you have a mindset of, let's say, of different magical systems, books that I'm about to show you that help me and how I'm able to put up a ritual and I could get desired results. Like for example, in my hand I have the book that is called the Kabbalah, or the Kabbalion, excuse me. The Kabbalion, the Hermetic Philosophy of the Three Initiates, is a really good book to basically start with. And the reason for that is because by looking at that book, it has a structured system that you could go by and you could get that desired results. It's no different than what I'm about to also explain in this video on how I was able to tailor-made my particular mind frame of magic so that I could get particular work or desire, excuse me, I could get a particular desire, because that book is just one way in order to get it. But I made mention of it because it's popular, it works for most people, and if it doesn't, then you could find another book that I'm about to show you. I have about like 6 books here, and the more I refer to these books, perhaps it could help encourage you to get a better foundation of what magic is, to put it into your practice, and you could get your desired results. Like for example, there's 2 books in particular that I thought was nice, and it's by Carlos Castaneda. You have one that I thought was nice where it says a separate reality, whereas the other one is the teachings of Don Juan. Those are good too, just like the Hermetic book that I showed you of the Three Initiates, because it's really breaking down on how you could look at reality and separate that from your imagination. What I mean by that is that there is a connection. Remember that I mentioned before that media tends to push magic as Harry Potter. You just say a word and then you get results. It's partially correct, but it's not going to be poof right away, some genie coming out of a bottle. There's always some sort of compensation, if you will, because if you're going to make a change within your reality, you have to realize that reality itself is malleable, which means you can mold it the way that you see fit. But those books, especially the one with let's say Carlos Castaneda, those 2 books were good for me because it helped me to appreciate that when you think about your third eye, it's really all about imagination. But the media frowns upon that. If you're just dreaming, then you're just dreaming. It's just a joke to them. But in reality, what if it's not a joke and you could combine reality with that illusionary world and you could get results? But those 2 books bring it out a lot more clearer in its own way. Me mentioning the third eye, it's more like me putting it in my own words and how I summarize that book, because it helped me to appreciate that no, when I dream, when I communicate with these beings, it's not just me making fun of myself. It's not just a dream. I get results. As long as I'm dreaming and then there's a result that comes after, then I realize it's not just a dream. Because for me, the end result is, well, results. It's just that. You know, if you're just dreaming about your girlfriend and then she didn't really get hit by a bus or whatever, I'm just making an exaggeration in reality, then you know it's just a dream or it just hasn't happened yet or something like that. Not that we want to, but you get my point. There has to be some result to it to make you point to that particular dream and go, hey, look, you know, that wasn't just a dream. Because for myself, years ago when I picked up a book like that and really understanding how reality works in connection with my dreams and how I connect with deities and magic as a whole, you're going to get something out of it. Because for me, how it works for me, like let's say I were to connect with Hecate or Hecate and I fall asleep and I am worried. Out of nowhere, I'm feeling scared. I'm feeling worried. And my dream is going to resemble that about, let's say, a particular job or whatever have you. Yes, I could brush it off as maybe I'm just nervous about a job. But I realized that connecting Hecate coming to me in a dream about a job, being nervous, and perhaps she's trying to soothe me or anything like that. And then I realized that connect that with reality. I realized that maybe she's telling me not to be as terrified because it's unexpected. You know, either I get the job or not, just relax or something like that. But that's just me, you know, summarizing it to better understand how you're able to work with magic in your own reality and how you're able to explain it to others so that you could come off a lot more effective, because that's the best way I could explain it, but keeping it very, very simple. You know, look at your dreams, journal, do all these things and look at the results. Now, I made mention of it, but another book I would like to introduce is the book of Hecate, Goddess of the Witches. She's the main goddess that I work with when it comes to my craft as a male witch, so that I could have better necromancy. I could better understand that as I have my herbs and I could combine them, either it be lemongrass or whatever have you, mixing these herbs together, getting these particular plants, I am in fact experimenting and I could get that desired result. You're going to hear me say that a lot because magic does give you a desired result. You just have to work at it, you know, and once you do that, that's when you know you're on the right path. You're doing something right. Think about the books that I'm showing you throughout this video when it comes to magic. These are all successful books because they have done the hard work, they put their magic into practice, and then they got a desired result. You get it? That's why they make these books, just like that's why I make these videos. I do the hard work, trial and error, and eventually I am successful at it, and then I'm here on YouTube extending that warm welcome by saying, hey, maybe you should do what I do and you could get results. Now, this process is going to be brought up by this next book that I'm going to bring up. And I think this was good because back in the day, many years ago, this book helped me. And it says, it's the Beginner's Guide of Alchemy. I have other books on alchemy, but it's better to show that book because it's a beginner's guide. And it's many years ago when I was first trying to understand not just magic, because magic in itself is alchemy. You're taking a inferior, let's say, product and you're gonna turn it into a more superior, you know, quality of that material. You know, you'll hear phrases within that book like the primal material, and you'll hear about let's say other things that you probably see within I guess Netflix or something like that, or your TV shows that you like to watch. And you've probably seen this sort of dragon symbol while the dragon is chasing its tail, or it's trying to eat its own tail. Well, here's homework for you. Try to figure out what the name of that symbol is and you'll realize that you're going to get a whole slew of information on Google or something like that, and it's going to tell you so many different points of views from so many different magicians, witches, Satanists, or whatever have you, Wiccans or whatever, Luciferians, and they would tell you in their own way, in their own craft, what it meant to them. But remember, once you have learned these things, you're going to revise it in your own way so you can make it your own. Hence, I'm not going to just go ahead and give you the answer to that homework question. I want you to go ahead and try to name what it is that I'm trying to give reference to, because you've seen it in the media, but do you know what it is? And do you know what that connection, that symbol, that alchemic symbol is in connection to the book that I've just shown you as far as alchemy is concerned, and how magic itself is just, well, alchemic. Okay? Now, I'm looking through my books and I have about 3 left, and mind you, though we have a huge list of books that I'm sharing with you throughout this video, I want to keep in mind that you're not limited to the books that I'm showing, but there's tons of other books out there. I have tons of other books, but this would be a video that would be too long if I introduce everything within my bookcase, you know. So again, I just want to reiterate, these are books that help me, and I'm trying to help you in return. Now, remember my tarot readings, or others like to pronounce it tarot card readings? Well, back in the day, what helped me to understand how to understand not just tarot, but a good partner to tarot or tarot card reading is in fact astrology. This book, Astrology for Real Life, this book is good because it helped me to understand how to look at houses, you know, ascended, descended, and all these other things that could be very confusing to people. But that within itself is still magic, because even if you're looking at your horoscope for the week, for the day, or for the month, or whatever have you, you are still making needed change in your life by looking at me, your friendly male witch who produces videos like tarot readings, that is trying to look within you guys as a group, also as an individual, so that you could expect certain changes in your life. Don't you think that sounds like alchemy? Don't you think it sounds like magic? Well, of course it is. That's why in its most fundamental basics, when you think about it, astrology is still magic. A lot of it has to do with mathematics as well, but we're not going to get into it. You know, as far as you look at the tropical or whatever have you, it gets complicated. But because I've been doing this for such a long time, I will tell you, I'm just going to make mention of these things. But pick up that book and it could help you to appreciate even further on how you yourself could better understand astrology, tarot readings, so that you could get a desired results. Because tarot does work for me, and I hope that it could work for you. Now, a second, well, not really a second, but perhaps this book could help you, and it's by Stephanie Connolly, and it's The Keys of Oket. I have like practically her whole entire set of books. That's just one of them. The reason why I'm bringing out that book is because I work with Hecate. She's a goddess of the underworld. Now, by saying that, that helps me to understand that when I connected with that book, it better helps me to communicate with the dead, because that's another form of magic. It's another form of communication, and it within itself is a good tool on how you could do ritual. You can look at ritual tools and understand the lingo of necromancy, so that you could also get a desired result. And it helps you to appreciate that you could work with goddesses like Hecate, you have Thanatos, and you have other such Greek, Egyptian gods and goddesses that could help you with that craft of magic. Pick up the book, because it definitely helped me out a lot. Now, lastly is the OTO, or better yet, and known as the Law of Philema, Aleister Crowley's philosophy of true will. It's one of many books that are out there that would talk about their system of magic, their system of ritual, so that you could get your desired results. Now, though I've shown so many books, those books I recommend, especially the one with Philema, excuse me, because that book by itself alone, when you actually put its teachings into works and you realize, like, oh my goodness, like Aleister Crowley really did have something going on when he spoke about magic back then. It actually is so apropos to our day and age, and you can see that there's definitely a good reason on why you should too pick up that system of magic and see if it works for you. Because I'm not forcing you, but I am saying look at these books, and then that's when you know you have that desired result. Remember, practice makes, you know, a better person out of you. Expect the fact that it's going to be trial and error. You're going to fail. As they say, you know, you're going to fail many times, way more many times before you get that desired result, okay? And that's the end of this particular video when it comes to magic. I want to introduce those books so that you can come up with your own understanding and your own skill set when it comes to magic. But I will say that in another video that I'm about to also dish out right after this video, it's going to explain further about how to communicate with said deity, archangel, demon, or whatever have you, so that you can better understand this video. This one is primarily about magic. The second one is going to be put out in such a way where it's about communication, okay? So I'll be given to you, okay? Love every single one of you. Motive be.